Hello and welcome, guys. This is another product from Rohr 3D Solutions. As always, sponsored by C4Depot.com and CGTrader.com. I have a product here to showcase to you for a moment. This is the Ruschmeyer R90 230 retractable gear aircraft that I have made long time ago and have recently been quite busy on rigging items. So now this is a fully rigged aircraft to be used in your favorite any aviation type of environment or a flying type of scene. It has a detailed interior and a clean exterior, and it's good for up close, far away, either way, whatever you want to do. So all you do to start with is you open up the rig by selecting the file, and you'll see the title and the espresso on the side. You don't have to touch the espresso, just touch the file, go to Ruschmeyer controls, and away we go. So we have low and high detail, low detail, more for far away shots. All I do is add a gloss reflectance material and remove the cockpit and all the key items with it. And we also have the generic level of detail renderer. So as you are rendering this out here, let me just go ahead and do this, just a random thing, do that, and we'll do that. So if you're just rendering this out real quick, you'll see with a level detail render of 0, you'll have no subdivision, and as you bump this up, I'll go to a detail of 2, and you're going to get that nice subdivision nurbing occurring. So what we also have here is the detail in the editor. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to shaded lines so you can see. This is just kind of a quick preview if you're trying to do an up close shot. I don't recommend that you use this when you're actually operating the model. It makes it a little bit more challenging. Go back to quick shading and just show you the paint is fully adjustable. So let's say we want a kind of a gray body. You're going to get a nice output on all the colors, and let's make this kind of a, I don't know, let's just make some outrageous colors right now, maybe bright yellow. Everything is rigged together. These are all layers that are placed onto the aircraft, and they're completely adjustable, so feel free to make the airplane color of your choice and just have fun with it. So you have the ability, I'm going to go and back out and go back to the original colors. You also have the ability to adjust the amount of reflection. So if I were to look at this here, you'll see the reflection off of the wing on the aircraft. Let me bump that down to nothing, and now you don't have a reflection. So it's just a global reflections channel for all of the paint. And just to kind of give you an idea, here is the rig. There's a lot going on here, especially in the lights and in some of the controls for the rest of the aircraft. But everything is espresso rigged. So if I come back here to the rig, let's talk a little bit about some of the controls that you do have. So you'll notice on the prop, you just have to hit the timeline. Let's bump this up a little bit. You hit the timeline, let it run, and you'll have an output. So you won't see the prop move when it's sitting there static unless the timeline is running. So just keep that in mind. I'm going to go and drop down to 0 for now. And we also have the constant speed prop control. So feather is full control 100%, and blade flat pitch is going to be at the 0% range. And to make this easier to see, I'm going to bounce back to the shaded lines. There are cowl flaps, and you can open and close those as you see fit. Those are going to be more when you're, landing or whatnot and want the aircraft kind of closer to the ground. So then we have landing gear, and this is kind of the big one. So I'm going to make this a quick and simple thing. So let's do a keyframe here. I'm going to go 100 frames down. I'm going to go ahead and keyframe here and then go 100 frames out and come back here, just so you can get the full effect of what's going on So basically the landing gear will cycle nice and neatly. All the doors are rigged to operate based on the location of the gear and whatnot. And there is an IK spline you'll see here on the nose wheel. Everything else has constraints or is a spline driver on the Espresso. Also a note is that this line here is actually a hair tag for the brake line. If I pause this and I come in here, actually let's go all the way back. Let's go ahead and get rid of this. I'm going to delete the tracks and I'm going to pull the gear up. So when I pull the gear up like that, what you'll notice is you see the brake line through the wing. Well, any render that you go through, as soon as you move the timeline, that's going to go away because it has a static position and it's just flexing that line. So it's a dynamic part, so don't let that bother you. But if you're going to make a static image, don't make a static image on frame 0. Make it on frame 1 or greater, and that'll fix that issue. So I'll bring the gear back down, and then just to show you how some of this works on the interior, we have a pilot and co-pilot door, and they all kind of have a nice alignment. And when you activate any of the controls, what you'll also see is you're going to activate the flight stick as well. So aileron, you're going to roll inside the cockpit and orientation is correct. And the same thing with the elevator. And you also have the rudder, which will move the nose wheel, the rudder, and your rudder pedals. So whether you're doing a interior animation or render, you're still going to have all the functionality, whether you're inside or outside the aircraft. And then obviously we have flaps that pump down too. And the deflection of these items should be fairly accurate. Please forgive me if I'm off by a little bit. If someone is buying this and owns the aircraft and knows better in the POH what the degree of deflection is, by all means let me know and I'll fix that. So I'll go and close this up, and now we're going to get into the fun part, which is going to be more into the light segment. And just to make sure that we get kind of a nice output here, a nice quick output. So lights are hidden in the editor because it starts getting kind of busy when you are looking at the lights. But as you can see, the lights are on there. They are set up. They're hidden. You have the ability to select or deselect that. I recommend that you leave it hidden. So we'll go ahead and use just to show you the landing lights on this particular aircraft. Yeah, that should work. Are generally on the wings. Oops, let me fix that. Come back here. Here we go. Quasi-multi. Okay, are on the wings. So as you're making your approach in for a landing, you'll have kind of a nice effect off of the wing lights, which will have a nice glow on the actual light itself. I'm using an Omni light, and then you have an area shadow light for a spot that will give you that extra effect there. And there are going to be some reflections off the aircraft too, so it should turn out looking really nice. You have nav lights. Let's go ahead and run those. The nav lights are fairly low set. You can definitely crank up the amount of light that is on the Omni bulbs to be able to give it a little bit more pop if you desire. And what you also have is the beacon light on the tail, and I'll go ahead and remove this and show you how things are working. So you have your strobe lights, or collision lights, that are going to be flickering on the left and right wings, and those are not your nav lights, so they're a different color. And you have a modulo going for the beacon, so it's going to have a nice output. It's all said and done. I'm going to hide those again. There are cockpit lights. Let's go ahead and open up this door. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and remove the global illumination and just do a quick render so you can see. So the lights in the cockpit are going to give you kind of a nice output. It's kind of a soft shadow light, and there's a handful fed all throughout here, and so they're going to slow your render times down a little bit. But when you want to do a night scene and you want the cockpit lights, you have the ability to go ahead and adjust how much lighting that you want, if you want any at all. And then on top of that, oops, wrong key. On top of that, we also have instrument lights. So you can absolutely turn the instrument lights off. Actually, let's do this. You can turn the instrument lights off if you so desire, and they'll be dark. So there's the instrument lights on. And with that global illumination, it's not as dramatic here. And that's them off. So that basically is the rig in a nutshell. It's going to be a fun aircraft to play around with if you want to jump in and make a neat animation. This is going to be a really good asset for you. Highly encourage you guys consider this. As always, thanks for watching. Hope this is informative, and happy modeling.